Welcome to another episode of Between the Coast. I'm your host, Fernando, with our stars Cassius and Jared. Episode 21 is underway. NBA veterans find new homes. College football top 25. Does the NFL need a preseason? These are all things that we will be discussing, so tune in. Klay Thompson is leaving Dallas and appears headed to Miami. DeMar DeRozan is joining Joker in Denver. Peyton Watson is headed to Cleveland. The preseason AP Top 25 is officially out. College eligibility is being challenged again in court. And we'll finish with the NFL's latest injuries, signings, before debating two questions. Does the NFL still need preseason? And should the league eventually have franchises outside of the U.S.? So let's get into it. Starting with the NBA, Klay Thompson headed to the Miami Heat. Dallas and Klay agreed to a contract buyout ending his two-season Mavericks run. Once he clears waivers, Thompson intends to sign with Miami. Klay isn't prime Warriors Klay anymore, but the real question that we want to talk about is, can Klay still bring a championship-level role play? So what do you guys think?
Hell no. It's just that simple, bro. He, after the ACL, the Achilles, he doesn't move laterally anymore. I mean, shooters are going to shoot, so he can get hot at any time. But, what are we doing, bro? Like, you got the buyout from the Mavs. You should have just went back to Golden State. This whole, you're about to retire. You should have just went back to Golden State.
Or should have went to the Sixers, if we're being honest.
There's that. If you're trying to win another one, you better go get crewed up. And they're crewed up. So Cass is right about that. I'm just like, this doesn't move the needle. Miami is a play-in team. Like, this is asinine. Go ahead, Cass.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can get maybe better than what he was last season. And, of course, he's going to have a bigger role than what he has with the Mavs. But I think at most you're hoping for, 15 points a game. Maybe getting you 3 rebounds. Maybe.
What is going on, bro?
But no, but honestly, the only reason you're bringing him in is to help spread the floor with the 3 ball. That's the only reason in my head that you're thinking that. But I don't think we can turn back the clock.
What percentage did he shoot last year, though?
I can find that out for you now.
Yeah, it wasn't high. It wasn't sexy, for lack of a better term. So, I mean, Klay Thompson is an older player. Klay Thompson is a Hall of Famer. All respect to Klay, but, I don't understand going to Miami where you got Giannis and Bam, and you're not even shooting the 3 ball that well, because let's just call it what it is. He's
he
older.
Shot 38%.
I mean,
but he also from field goal he shot 39%. So still shooting the 3 consistently, but didn't shoot. And he averaged 11.7 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.4 assists.
Yeah, it's just not sexy, bro. I don't understand it. That's just me, though. That's just me. I could be wrong. Maybe he has a resurgence.
Yeah, he did only start 8 games. He played 69. But again, like I said, I think he'll have a little bit of a bigger role with the Heat. But again, I don't think it's going to be. I think it'll be closer to his first season with Dallas, where he did start all those games. And let's see, he had 14 points, 3.4 rebounds. Like I said, 3 rebounds a game and 2 assists. And you're hoping that he shoots at least 5 to 6 threes a game.
The thing that made Klay Thompson great, though, was he was an elite defender. He was going to be on your best offensive player from start to finish. That's what made Klay Thompson great in his prime, on top of shooting. So now you're older. You can't shoot because of the injury. Well, you're not as efficient. Or I take as efficient back, because you said 39? 39%?
39 field goal, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty damn good. But you don't have the lift you used to have, and you don't have the lateral quickness to pick somebody up full court.
Hey, maybe that he's not eating Meg's food. He might get a little lighter. Right. Might be a little lighter.
I'm already done with the Klay Thompson conversation.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, there's not much left for to talk about with Klay, but we'll see how he does. We'll see.
Should have went back to Golden State. Finn.
Okay. All right, we have DeMar DeRozan next, headed to the Denver Nuggets. So Denver is adding DeMar DeRozan on a 1-year, $3.9 million veteran minimum deal. which some people might think is a fascinating move because Denver gets a six-time All-Star without committing major money to him. So is DeMar the missing piece for Denver? Like, is he kind of that missing piece that they need?
Uh,
Hell no.
I don't think so. But according to Jared, your take was that they're in the championship race for next season still.
He doesn't put them over the top.
Mm.
He
I don't think that they were there to begin with, as I've said multiple times, and I don't think this also moves the needle for me.
you
To your
have
point
said
on that, but
you have said that, but like I feel like
my,
you be
my
low
I
key,
would say
you be high key disrespecting Denver and the Joker.
I
That's my point. In
I
that.
hang on. I will say this: I'm not respecting Denver and the Joker. Denver is disrespecting the Joker. Think of what they've done for him since he won a championship. They haven't added any stars to this lineup. They gave Braun way more money than he was worth, thinking that this kid was going to be the next thing. And what is that kid doing right now for that team? He's not helping them move the needle.
He's not
Aaron Gordon, unfortunately, has dealt with injury.
older. Yeah,
You let Peyton Watson now leave, who was your young star up and coming, that was helping them look like they were actually moving the needle a little bit more in the West. And like all it's been is him and Jamal Murray. So like, what are we like? I think that DeMar does move the needle more than the Clay moving the Heat needle. Like he adds way more contribution. I mean, just with Sacramento alone last season, he had 18 points, 4 assists, and almost 3 rebounds a game with 1 steal. Still, like the man can still play, and I still am a big fan of DeMar. I think he does help them, especially giving them another shooter as well as defender. But again, older player, I just don't see them keeping up with the quickness of how some of these young players are. Even LA's gotten younger.
the reason it doesn't move the needle is because, like you said, he's an older player. But DeMar DeRozan has always been a regular season player. Let's just call it what it is. He's a regular season player.
Since winning the championship in 2023, the Nuggets have traded Michael Porter Jr., traded Peyton Watson, signed Christian Braun to a 5-year, $125 million deal, let Bruce Brown walk, and let KCP walk. You've literally you've taken away everything from him. So again, I don't have an issue. I think Joker is still top 3 player in the league, will consistently be, even if he doesn't want to be the star face. Like, he is still considered one of them. I think as much as I'm not a fan of Jamal Murray's attitude and how he plays the ball, sometimes a little disrespectfully, I think he's still one of the best point guards that we have currently playing when he's playing with Joker. But also, they have no one else right now. And then again, you gave Peyton Watson, who I think actually will be a great contribution to Cleveland this year.
Okay, so I guess my final question is: do you guys think DeMar DeRozan makes Denver a top 3 Western Conference contender?
Nope.
No.
Maybe out of the play-in. I think they'll be out of the play-in, but again, this all depends on how many of these guys stay healthy for them this season.
True. Okay, on to our next NBA player, Peyton Watson, who's headed to Cleveland. Let's hear you guys' thoughts on this trade.
I like it for Cleveland. Unfortunately, they couldn't get LeBron. So like, I think it's still something that helps them add depth, which is something they need. And he's a smart player. He develops pretty fast. He's only going to be in his 5th season. And in his 4th season, he went from his 3rd to his 4th season, he went from 8 points a game to 15 points a game. Adding also then going for 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and then averaging 1 block. Like, kid's a defender. He's a two-way player. And honestly, we know what Cleveland needs, which is defense. Because they don't play it. Because you have Harden and you have Donovan Mitchell on the floor. And you need guys who can defend the freaking ball. So,
Ball's going to be out of his hands more now. I mean, Harden isn't passing like Joker or Murray. Harden doesn't do that no more. And Donovan Mitchell's looking to score. So
Harden's going to have to figure it out, but he's going to shoot himself in the foot.
It's a big what if, though. Like, him going to Cleveland is a big what if. That's my only point.
I think he's going to be their third option in terms of actually shooting and scoring the ball. Of course, you have their centers and Mobley, but at the end of the day, like, you need someone else who can help spread the floor and isn't just a soft big man like Mobley is. Like, the man shoots the three and tries to do a finesse move inside and then automatically gets stopped. So I'm not looking for, if I was Cleveland, I'm not looking for another big man who can't compete with the top, five big man right now in the NBA. I'm looking for someone who can help spread the floor for me and at least get my shooters open.
So, final question: did Cleveland just find a long-term piece for his core?
I think
It's a
he'll be
long
there.
term piece, but
Yeah,
it's not going to. The immediacy of the trade isn't going to rear its head to me.
agreed. Agreed. I don't think it. I don't think it moves them from where we have them. I think it is a good piece that helps them long term going through the season because now they have more depth. But I do think that they're not a top three team in the East still right now.
Okay. All right, we're going to transition to college football. The NBA is giving veterans new homes and young players huge opportunities. College football might be about to completely redefine how long players can stay in the sport. So, we're going to start off with the preseason AP Top 25 that officially came out. We have Ohio State number one, Oregon two, Georgia three, and I know we talked about some of these teams previously in other episodes, but we're just going to quickly talk about which teams we think really stand out to us, which teams we feel like don't deserve to be in the top 25, or just kind of those sleeper teams again. So, does Ohio State deserve to be number one in your guys' eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. They definitely have, I think, the deepest team. I think they have two technically Heisman candidates with Julian Sands and Jeremiah Smith. I think that they have a lot of questions answered, even though they lost a lot of players on both sides of the ball. They didn't lose as many on the offensive side, still, in my opinion. But yeah, I think that they're going to be, especially even with their schedule, like it's going to be hard to beat them this season. So,
Okay. Oregon at number two, is that too high, too low, or do you guys feel like that's right?
as the Oregon faithful here, I think that you can have them at two. I would honestly, I'm surprised they have them at two because again, I think that with the last two losses they've had the last two seasons, we've seen that they have a defensive stopping problem. They can't stop the ball. I mean, and they got disrespected by Indiana. Like it was bad. Like most of us turned off the game. Like
I love the
by
adjective you used.
it was terrible. So I'm very surprised that they're not at three. I would have
They
them
could have
over
been at
Notre
4.
Dame.
Shit.
I was going to say they could have been at 4. I would have them over Notre Dame though. But yeah, I think that you could definitely have them at 3 or 4.
Why? Why would you have them over Notre Dame?
Notre Dame didn't make the playoffs last year, and I know they should have been a team that made the playoffs, but I have questions on their new quarterback in CJ Carr just to see how he actually runs the offense and what that team looks like, especially because their schedule is pretty easy. There
It
should
is
be
easy.
no reason that they don't come out and make the playoffs almost within the first 8 games of the season. So
Okay.
I'll give them that.
What is the most overrated top 10 team in your guys' eyes?
Oh,
Miami quarterback questions for me again. I just
I
need to see
am
more.
going to agree with him. It's Miami. The QB is. I mean, they had somebody who had played a lot of football last year, and he's gone. So, yeah, QB questions. That could make you overrated. They could find themselves out the top 25 real fast if it
Right.
don't go right.
Versus to that point, Ole Miss at number 9, like they could be one of the fastest moving ones to the top that we could see because
Yeah.
we got Trinidad still there. So
And they returned a lot of pieces, man. I'm surprised they weren't higher in general. Yeah.
Okay.
And even their playoff game, they went down to the wire. It was a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Jared, you kind of led me to my next question. What is the most underrated top 25 team?
underrated probably be. It's hard to say because they have LSU at 11, and I think that's still a team that has a lot to show this season. I am happy Clemson is not in the top 25. I would probably say Houston is a very interesting team this season. They really Oh, go
Don't
ahead.
you fall for the trap.
I
Don't you do
I
it.
might fall for it.
Don't
dude.
you do it.
That defense
Don't you do it.
looks maniacal this
I
season.
will not let you do it.
I'm interested to see what that team can do this season. I want to see it. They might be one underrated. They've brought back a lot of pieces. But also if we're talking about overvalued, because you said top 10, top 25 overvalued, it's still Alabama. Alabama should not be in the top 20, in my opinion. So
Okay.
For the overrated, for the top 25,
you're gonna say Michigan.
it should. There's a couple. It's honestly Michigan and USC. If I'm being honest, it wasn't sexy last year. Let's just call it what it is. So, but Michigan is definitely one. One. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. And then for underrated in the top 25. Yeah, honestly, I think you could go Tennessee, and even though Ole Miss is in like the top 10, they really could have been higher to me. So I'll say underrated. I'll keep my answer the same.
Okay. Which team outside of the top 10 do you guys think is most likely to make the playoffs?
LSU. I mean, they're right there, but I think that they have some of the strongest chances. Especially also after we took a look at their schedule, I think they have a great chance.
That's just the easiest answer, though.
It is. I know.
That's
my
I'm
easy
looking
one.
at the list. That's why.
Because honestly, I don't like a lot of the other options on this.
I mean, you know what? Just to piss him off, I'm going to say Alabama.
Oh,
Terrible.
I'm not going to take the easy answer.
You know,
I'm
you're
gonna
right.
say
Fine. I'm
Alabama.
gonna say USC.
Oh, fuck.
I'm gonna say USC.
okay.
They're going to be
Now,
disappointing you on week 9. I can
Yeah.
just feel
So
it.
is Alabama. They're gonna be disappointing you week 3.
Could be.
yeah. All right. So we're going to transition to our next topic, which is NCAA eligibility court battles that have been going on. So, a federal judge initially granted additional eligibility to certain athletes who graduated high school in 2022 and had exhausted their eligibility. That created speculation that players who had already signed NFL contracts could potentially return to college. So, the important clarification here for our show is just we're not trying to get caught up in the legal battles, but we just want to debate whether we think how many years players should actually be allowed to play in college football or if they should be able to return or not. So, do you guys think 5 years, 5 seasons, or should it be more? Does age matter? What are you guys' kind of thoughts on these topics?
Just to kind of feed off a little bit of what Nando is trying to say, is they did give an appeal for that granted thousands of athletes another season of eligibility that has been halted now, which in I think the retrospective things, it kind of ruins sport. Like, in my opinion, you made that decision to leave. You think you're good enough. You can return back to school, get your degree, great. But if you're leaving the team, I don't think you should be given the chance to come back, which we're already seeing has happened. Daquan Wright, who was signed by the Browns, is now being waived by the Browns, and he plans to join LSU. So the issue I have with this also is more so that now you're creating a already messy situation we have with NIL deals. Now we're dealing with players that can, just because they feel they're not good enough or they didn't get the contract they wanted or they didn't get drafted, they said, I can go back. No, you made this decision to leave. I'm sorry. And not to mention, you took someone else's spot who may felt that they were draft eligible. And that's kind of where I have to start with that. So
I agree with him. The integrity of the game is being called into question at this point in time. I mean, I just think if you sign a professional contract, you shouldn't be allowed to come back. Now, if you never put pen to paper, maybe. I think it depends. Like, if you were drafted, though, yeah, nah, bro. You gotta go. You can't come back. I also think that all this eligibility that people are getting. Like who's the dude? He got his 9th year. 9 years, bro. That's a long time.
It is. And
That's
then
a
like
long time.
and the thing is now because of NIL deals becoming so messy and the ability that if you're a college student, you can pretty much have a career as a college student temporarily to make more money than you probably can if you don't make it to the NFL to at least get yourself started and stabilize. It's like, of course, these players want to go back. They're probably making more than they were
In the NFL.
in the NFL at that time or when they get signed because their stock wasn't what they thought it was. It wasn't what their agent said it was going to be, and they thought, "Oh, I'm getting all this money in college for my NIL. I should be making something equivalent to NFL money." And they're like, "Sorry, that's not how that works here."
I think the integrity of it's being messed up. The amateurism is being messed up, and what are you gonna do for the kids that are in second, third, fourth grade? By the time they get there, what they can play 10 years, 15 years? Like it doesn't make sense. I understood why it happened at first with COVID, but
Yeah, situational.
Thank you, Cass. Situational. That's over. Like all those kids, if you're not part of that whole sequence and that whole pandemic of eligibility, man, if you coming into college next year, you got your
And
4 years, your one injury redshirt year if you have to sit, your other one if you get hurt. So 6 years. That's it.
yeah, and honestly, again, situational. If there were other like medical
Injuries.
reasons, exactly, injuries, medical reasons, I don't know, personal family issues. That's something that happened that caused you not like. There's plenty of reasons to be there, but for you just to be like, I'm leaving, I'm signing a contract, I'm getting an agent, I'm entering into the draft, and then
Like,
after going through all that, getting drafted potentially, and then being like, no, I'm leaving. No, I would not
like,
even want you on a team.
like we were talking
You're a
about
flight
old.
risk.
There's that. We were talking about Ole Miss. Like Trinidad Chambers, didn't he fight for eligibility?
Yep, and
And
he got it.
could have been a first round pick.
I think this, yeah, and honestly, that's the thing is, he's an interesting situation because he would have probably been a first round pick in this draft. This next draft, he may not be.
He may not be.
Because Arch Manning, Dante Moore, like CJ Carr, we don't know what that aspect looks like.
Okay, any other final thoughts on this topic before we transition to the NFL?
It's just we'll keep an eye on it, but let's just hope that college can get one thing right.
Now we're going to transition to the NFL. So, if college football is becoming more like a developmental professional league, let's talk about the actual professional league because the NFL might have some changes of its own to consider. So, we're going to start with just checking in on different players around the league. What's going on with Keenan Allen and the Colts?
Some of the things we see, Keenan Allen with the Colts, he of course is just dealing with a little bit of tightness coming back. I think he'll be fine, but that team has a lot to just hopefully make sure that nothing and no one gets injured on. As for Cleveland's just had a terrible season so far. They actually not only, of course, just had one of their players, as we just talked about, want to get waived and rejoin LSU. Munkin actually even said he got a call from their new head coach from LSU and said, well, that's weird. Why is Lane Kiffin calling me? He's like, maybe I should have picked that up. But they're dealing with their own. Not only are they dealing with that issue, but of course they're dealing with the big issue of who their quarterback's going to be. I think it's going to be Shador. It kind of has to be Shador at this point. He had a decent game. He looked the most comfortable. And Deshaun Watson actually complained about how the fans praised him when he tore his Achilles, but yet when he does well, they boo him. I said, no, dude, it's probably because you're a predator and they just don't want you on the team. So yeah, I think that he's kind of built his bed. I think it's going to be, I think you waive him if I'm the Browns. You're going to have to eat $40 million anyway. Might as well eat it when he's not on the team.
Welcome to Magic City, Deshaun Watson. Lord knows. Them quarterbacks ain't holding up in Atlanta.
No, not Magic City. Don't send them there.
Hey, what's another player around the league that we should highlight at this time?
Browns also lost defensive end right to an Achilles, so he is out for the season. So yeah, that's like I said, Browns are just not having a great time. Moving over to another QB race, I should say, is Atlanta. Michael Penix has been approved for 11 on 11s, so we'll actually see if he can actually compete for the job. Tua has not been looking solid, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to make a decision, and it's going to be hopefully after this game. You hope to see Penix can put something together and to stay healthy this season.
Is Penix a bust?
If he doesn't stay healthy and play this season, he is, in my opinion.
I was about to say, because remember when he was at Indiana and he was just terrible, always injured, and then he went to Washington and he looked like the second coming of whomever you want to say, and now he just look. It just looks so bad all the time.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. And then like I said, if you're gonna point at behind Tua's back, saying like, is this the guy you guys are picking as quarterback? Then you better stay healthy and make that team look great. Like you have Bijan, in my opinion, the second best running back in the league behind Jahmyr Gibbs. You have Drake London, top 10, top 15 wide receiver. Kyle Pitts, who should be great for you guys if you can get him going. Probably getting 6 touchdowns this season. He's had, every season he's had that season number amount of touchdowns. 1 touchdown his first season, 2 touchdowns his second season, 3 is fourth. 3 is third, 4 is fourth, 5 is fifth.
That's
season
all.
6 touchdowns.
Could you imagine if he doesn't get 6?
Oh, people are going to lose it. People are going to lose their mind. But yeah, kind of continuing the list, George Kittle and the 49ers got finally positive good news. He has been activated from the PUP list, so he should be back on the field soon. Charbonnet is currently still dealing with some injury concerns. They don't know if he will be back for the beginning of the season. Nick Bosa remains still injured and doesn't know if he'll be back for week 1. And I think one of the worst ones, which isn't even an injury, but just kind of jumping into, as we know, J.J. McCarthy is battling for the QB2 spot. Not looking good. Did not look great. He missed 2 wide open shots in the end zone. He didn't look comfortable, and the Vikings are really concerned. He did get a little banged up, but at the end of the day, even if he wasn't, or even if he was more injured, at the end of the day, I don't think that the Vikings are looking at him as a long-term or even keeping him as a backup potentially for the future. Because, yeah, it was gross.
If Kevin O'Connell can't fix you, you're screwed. Look at what he did to Sam Darnold.
They had Carson Wentz there. They had Dobbs. We had Joshua Dobbs running the team for a while. He actually looked great.
He looked great.
That dude's smart.
Dude
and he's a
before
pilot.
him. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, my point is everybody else looked great but him.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah. Kirk. Well, Captain Kirk. But, I mean, listen. It's looking rough. So, but I mean, y'all not telling me nothing I already didn't know. I knew he couldn't play. That national championship came on the coattails of Blake Corum. And U of M fans who love J.J. McCarthy will lie to your face and say he did all that. No, Blake Corum drugged them to the national championship kicking and screaming. I'm not even a Michigan fan, and I know that. So,
Yeah, in other news, Genty unfortunately was helped off with apparent right knee injury. We'll monitor that. Hopefully tomorrow we have some more news. So by the next episode, just because that, of course, not only has implications for the Raiders, but also for fantasy. And then Chargers center that they just hired, Biadaze, is out for the season as well, with season-ending IR injury. So yeah, it's been an injury-filled season, which kind of leads us into our next topic, Nando, if you would do the honors.
Yeah, which is, should the NFL eliminate preseason games? Currently, most teams play 3 preseason games, with the Hall of Fame game participants playing 4. Um, but the argument for removing the preseason is starters barely play anyway. There's injury risk. Joint practices increasingly provide controlled competition, but fans care far more about the regular season than the preseason. So the argument for keeping the preseason. This is a stronger counter argument, but preseason isn't really. I like this. Preseason isn't really for Patrick Mahomes, aka just like starters. So I guess what's your guys' thoughts? Should the NFL keep the preseason game? Should they get rid of it?
I just think they only need like 2 of them. I always thought 4 was a lot. Nobody really likes watching it.
Well,
People
technically, there's
go,
only 3. Yeah.
well, I'm talking about historically. It was 4.
Oh, yeah.
3
Right.
is a more recent thing, and within the past 5 to 10 years. But my point is, like, 4 was a lot. People go to those games because they're cheap, the ambiance, yada yada yada. Now we went to 3. Me personally, you still need preseason to shape up your roster, like the tail end of your roster. You might find, you know, somebody who you are like, oh yeah, he does well on special teams. He becomes something on your defensive end or on the defensive side of the ball. Or you might find a gem of a running back through preseason, through those joint practices, and through all those, like, pretty much the off season leading up to the season. I said all that to say, I think like they really, it just needs to be 2 games. It does. That's just me. Because I still think it is necessary for teams to finalize their roster and get good looks. And because if you don't have preseason, you're not going to know what some of these guys can do.
Agreed. I think that's a really very excellent point. Let me ask you this, Jared. If you only go to 2 preseason games, are you okay with them adding then 1 additional regular season game? Because that's what will probably
That puts it
happen,
at
in my opinion.
18. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So I mean, that's my one of my biggest arguments is if you get rid of the preseason completely, that means they're just going to add regular season games, which not only makes it tougher for the guys, for the players themselves to stay healthier. You're not giving them any time really to practice other than with just their own teammates and against them, which gets you, in my opinion, not ready for the different ambiances of defenses you're going to be facing. That's the whole point of the preseason is you get to have those joint practices. You get to play against those other teams, those other schemes of what they're running to make sure that you guys can handle whatever you guys might get thrown your way. And to Jared's point, I think that's one of the best cases too, is that you can't find those diamonds in the rough, whether it's a linebacker that was a 5th round pick or a guy that came off undrafted, or like the Bears, we had a couple years ago a running back that came from Harvard that I think he was undrafted, was looking great until he got injured. And then unfortunately that ended his time. But like at the end of the day, like that guy almost made the roster, and you never know what you can have in some of these players. And I think the big thing too is it's not just for the rookies and such. It's for these new acquisitions. Like you talk about AJ Brown with Drake May. Like you think they want to just have practices to try and get those normal speeds of play to get that relationship together and get that connection? No, they want to have a few preseason games to be like, okay, I got at least a quarter to get real playing time, the real speed of the game, and figure that out. Even Jeremiah Love and some of these rookies have said the same thing of like, Mendoza. Mendoza actually said that was the craziest thing for him in his first game was how quick he felt the game was moving. Like a lot of these rookies are not used to the speed of NFL from college football. And for them to even have that ability to have a couple games to say, okay, this is what I'm about to get into, I think really gives them an advantage. So
I think it also, like, shortening it to 2 games, I think it also forces like teams to like throw your starters out there versus, because I just think that the preseason is so long, because 3 weeks, it used to be 4. That's a long time.
it's technically is still 4 weeks because they give you basically a week now in between the last season
Yeah,
and
he's
then
right.
the full season, because then that's the cut week.
Yeah, he's right. So I mean, I just feel like if you shorten it and you add an extra game, like cool, you got 18 games. But if you also shorten it, you're forcing like you're throwing the starters into action a little bit sooner, which I think we've also seen that too. Like a lot of the starters who don't play in the preseason, what's happening to them when the season starts, the soft tissue injuries and whatnot. Like, and that, I just think if you're, I don't know, I could go either way. I
It
think
is.
that,
It's different. I mean, Josh Allen got played a preseason game because he wanted to get used to the new stadium. Like
right,
he
eh,
wanted to get to his ambiances of like, hey, what does my normal routine look like now with this new stadium? So
right. And I just think nobody watching it like that. Not too bad. Not too much. I mean, we put it's background noise until it's live. Let's just call it what it is. Or you're at the game because the ambiance, like I said, and you trying to see that first round pick. Like I know my man Cass is probably at a preseason game. Like I'm trying to see what that safety from Oregon trying to do. Like
right, and I
so,
think to your point, that is why with the preseason when we're watching, like to your point, I haven't watched as much preseason. I've been watching highlights when I can, but I haven't been catching all the games. But like, yeah, I want to see Jeremiah Love, and of course that's not only for implications of what these players can do because they are the top drafted talents, but also fantasy relevancy. Just to see like who are some of those diamond in the roughs, wide receivers and such that you might want to take in a late round, and just in general of what these we've seen now a trend of young offensive players, whether it's a wide receiver or a running back or a tight end now, even just take over offenses and are not the same echelon of talent that we've seen say, hey, we're just a rookie. We're only going to get like 20, 30 catches for the year with maybe 500 yards. No, these are like almost 800 to 1,000 yard seasons these players are having. Like breaking eight, like what? Loveland had almost 80 receptions and almost broke the record for Brock Bowers. Like it's a consistency now that these players, I feel like need that time to develop. And if you take away one game, I think that's one preseason season game. I think that's fine if you add one regular season game. But
yeah.
again, it's like, when is it too many games?
I
Do
don't
you
want the
guys?
preseason to go
Because
away.
now you have 19 weeks still though. Because now you still need to have a bye week, right?
Well, would you guys rather have 18 games or two buys?
Ooh,
I mean, you they would have to go to the two buys. He's not wrong.
two buys would be awesome, honestly, for these players.
He's not wrong. That just fixes the problem right there. Again, I think we're saying the same thing. I don't hate the preseason. I just think it needs to be shorter. And I think if you go to two, that's enough time. By the second preseason game who you want on your team and who you don't. Let's just call it what it is. We all know football. We've all seen it. Like the extra games is just that's just extra cheese on top of the
No,
burger
it's
at
true. I
that
mean,
point in time.
the Browns are the perfect example. Like
Right.
Malkin's about to decide the quarterback he said on Monday, and like I said, I would be very surprised if it's not Shador Sanders.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like you want to know who your quarterback is by honestly the last week. So then at least you know your scheme going in. Like these are my starters. These are the guys I still need to see what we're working with. Like versus like the Falcons, they're still gonna be deciding until literally the week before week one. Like
Yeah.
they don't know, and that's because unfortunately they haven't seen Penix play still this season
Yeah.
or this offseason. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We're saying the same thing. Like I said, you can shorten it. You know what your team's gonna be, and it also
I think two works.
you
Though.
got that one game to see the guys who you're like, is he gonna make the team? Slash, I want him on the team, and then you got another preseason game to be like, okay, like Caleb Williams, you got the first half, go crazy.
Yeah, I think that also though that's a great segue even Nando of if we did two buys, that would honestly have to be a necessity, especially leading into our next topic of if there were to be international teams.
The next segment, should the NFL have teams outside of the U.S.? All 32 NFL franchises now participate in the league's global markets program, covering 22 international markets. Teams have marketing rights throughout places including UK, Germany, Mexico, Brazil, Ireland, Spain, Australia, and Japan. So the question is, are international games enough? Or should the NFL actually put franchises overseas?
I've heard this a few different ways. I think that if you're going to start internationally, you have to start with North America. Put two teams in Canada, put a team in Mexico, and put a team maybe somewhere else. Because at least it's not as long as travel for the. Because my big huge issue is the travel time and the practice time with players in the NFL. Because someone did recommend on ESPN that potentially then if they were to give a franchise, they would just do four. They should just do four teams all overseas. So you do like a Germany, a Spain, uh, a London team, and then one more. And then that way, if you're over there, but to me, that's just so much to figure out for scheduling. Now you have teams that are spending basically a month over in another country just to hit all the games that are, I guess, against that division. And you're talking about now you have players who may be from Texas or somewhere that they have a population of 1,000 people, and you want them to move across the country away from their family, away from all that for, yes, you're getting paid millions, but you're also going to a place you've never been to before, and now your culture has completely been flipped on you and changed. So
I don't think we need international teams. I'm not even going to lie. But for the sake of the pod, I'm going to entertain the conversation. Okay. I agree with Cass. I think if you did do international teams, you should start with North America, so Canada and Mexico. Now, if you didn't put a team in Canada and or Mexico and you put them in Europe, I think for scheduling purposes, Cass, what they would do is you would have to put four teams
right.
immediately.
Oh, 100%.
So that but the schedule would be those four teams whoop up on each other first, and then they travel over here, and then they're over here until the end of the season. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Like
it's
there
just
would be no
your
home field advantage for them. Could you imagine traveling to Europe to play a playoff game?
Oh, I know. Well, that's my issue is that like whatever division that would have to face them. So let's say it's the NFC North. They would basically you would have to fly out and like instead of them playing one team for 1 week and then flying back, your best option if you're playing them is to have them play those games straight. Because let's say they're not playing all four home games against that team, but like they're probably playing at least two of those teams and then having to fly back. And again, like I said, that's just a lot of travel. And then you're having to deal with practice, like times, like the issue of like being on a plane that long. Like some of those flights are like 14, 15 hours.
Right. That's why I said you would start with four teams over there. They would have to just whoop up on each other first, get to the division out the way, and then they're over here. Okay, so now we're leaving Europe. We got to play the Chiefs. We got to play the Lions. We got to play Baltimore. We got to play the Bills. We got to play the Bears. And they just going to live in hotels over here. And that would suck for them, ultimately. Right.
Well,
and I don't think they would ever, if they were to hoist the Lombardi, everybody would be shocked because the war of attrition at that point would be insane.
Agreed.
Not seeing your family for 3 months.
Agreed. Yeah, and again, I think one of the biggest things that they like. I know this is all hearsay. Goodell has talked about and said at some point. I think he was kind of giving an underlying answer of like, oh yeah, there'll be a Spain team. More so him thinking like, no, there'll be like a Canada team. Like that's international still. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like that's where they should start. Like Canada's close enough. They have a Canadian football league that literally models how NFL plays essentially. Like that's where some players go who don't make it there. Like there's a lot of options here. And at the end of the day too, I don't think that they're looking at the bigger picture of do players even want to play overseas? Like it's not the same as it is with NBA. Like basketball has been international. So everyone has always known you can go to an overseas league if the NBA does not work out for you because the talent there is so spread. It's not ever been that case for the NFL. Most of these players are homegrown American boys, and they do not want to go probably to another country to play and move their family there. Some of them would probably be interested, and it's a new generation. There might be a lot of young kids who are like, oh, that sounds awesome. Like, I'm going to go move there and live there. But there's also a lot of veterans. That's the issue I see. Is like, you're going to tell a vet, like, oh, you got to go take your stuff and move to Dublin?
Yeah, imagine getting traded. Imagine getting
I know.
traded.
You're like,
Oh Lord.
hey, here's your flight. Why does it say my flight is 12 hours? Oh, because you're actually heading to London. Blimey.
We've already called your wife, okay? Like
Hey, we're sending you to Russia. Please don't.
Okay, so last question on this topic. Should every NFL team be required to play one international game each season?
Oh, definitely not. That's too many.
no, fuck
No, it's
that.
too many. No, I think you have to split it up like kind of how we do these seasons now is has to be divisional based. So like NFC North, we have our mixed schedules, but we always play like an NFC East or an NFC West, and then it kind of cycles through. And then like that's the only way I could see it working. But still, I think we'll have Canada and Mexico teams before we'll have any truly overseas teams.
Alrighty, and at this time, we're gonna finish our episode with our lightning round questions. So, do you guys think Klay Thompson, his move to Miami, is a good fit or bad fit?
It's a bad fit. Doesn't
Bad.
move the needle.
I think it's a bad fit overall, but I do think that they hired him because there's no one else better on the market to get. Other than they should have went for DeMar. They should have went for DeMar actually. In my opinion.
AKA, it doesn't move the needle.
Yeah. So bad move.
Thank you.
DeMar DeRozan to the Denver Nuggets. Good move, good fit, bad move.
I think it's a good fit.
It doesn't move the needle either.
Yeah, doesn't move the needle, but it's a better fit.
I agree. I'll give you that.
Okay. The college football playoff AP top 25. Do you think they got it right? Do you think there's more adjustments that need to be made? Wait and see.
Just wait and see.
I think week 1 will tell us all we need to know.
Pretty much. That's what I was gonna say.
College eligibility, 5 seasons minimum, maximum. How do you guys feel about
I
that?
think it's 6 maximum because you got grad students. That's number one. We didn't talk about that, but also, like Cassius said, situational. You could get injured, so you could not play in your red shirt. So
You never know. The government might make you get drafted. Might have to come back.
Okay, NFL preseason. How many games do you think it should have?
2.
I think I like 3 right now because it's the cut week that gets added. But I think if we do move to 18 games, it should be 2.
Okay. Which leads to my next question. In international NFL franchises, yes or no?
I like the expansion only if it's North America currently. I'm not a fan for like truly overseas teams yet. Like at least for another like 20 years.
I agree with him, but like to be continued.
But like I said, again, North America in itself, you could add 4 teams. You could
well,
have
they would-
2 in Canada and you could have 2 in Mexico. Or if they keep talking about Brazil can have one of their teams and they're still North America. So well, they're South America, but
They're
still
South
close
America.
enough. Still close enough. It's Americas, you know.
Okay.
The flights are way less of a travel issue.
Any final thoughts? Anything that we missed that you guys quickly want to discuss? Go over.
Get your mock drafts on, everybody. It's draft season.
Draft
right.
season.
With that, before we conclude, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to all of our channels. And as always,
Wait, one last thing. The rivalry jerseys are getting announced for the NFC North, I believe, tomorrow. So that is something to keep out. There will be one for the Vikings-Lions game and the Bears-Packers game. And those jerseys will finally be shown tomorrow. And available August 1st for purchase. So you'll probably see me in a New Jersey at some point.
A Packers jersey.
You might put me on a stake and
Like
burn
and
me.
subscribe, y'all. Like and subscribe.
Never.
A Mika Parsons jersey.
If you give me one, I'll wear it. Just kidding.
Yeah, you would burn it in front of me.
I would. And then I'd
All
send a
right.
video to him.
You go. Like and subscribe.
all right. And with that, thank you for joining the best in the Midwest, and join us next time for another episode of Between the Coast.
See ya.